Hello everyone, and welcome again to prompt number 5. This one is called Autumn Colors. This is the November prompt by Little Bit of E Design. She is on Instagram. So I am preparing my page by protecting the middle of my page with a piece of masking tape, and I'm now putting a layer of gesso. So what the gesso does is it protects my page from the paint which I'm going to apply, the gesso and water. So it's like a barrier and it prevents the page from soaking up all the water and all the paint. Yeah, that's what it does. And now we're putting in our layers of paint. So I was honestly really trying hard to remember what my autumn colors were, because in Trinidad and Tobago we don't have autumn. We have the dry season and the wet season. So I was trying to remember from movies that I saw and, little stuff I read online. I put my colors down and I'm mixing it up with a dry brush. I did not wet this brush. My mistake was to mix those colors on the left together, so it ended up looking kind of brown, which I was not pleased with, but I said, hey, I already started, so I'm leaving it as is. Next, I'm going in with my stencil, and I'm using texture paste, which dries hard and it's raised off of the page, so it gives it a nice dimension on your page. It looks really good like this. I kind of wish I'd left it like this. But, trial and error, we experiment. So I made a mess of the right swirly design. So I'm trying to clean it up right now. Trying to fix it. Kind of worked out, And now that we're all dry, I'm going in with some food coloring. Usually people at this stage, they would use ink instead. I do not have ink, so I'm using food coloring. I'm going in with brown. I didn't realize it was so off camera, I apologize. But I'm going in with my brown with a little plastic dropper. And I tilted my book so that the drops that I put would just run in between the parts of the texture paste, and the napkin is just to catch the extra food coloring. This looks good here too. I should have stopped right here, but I didn't. I just kept adding and adding. Now I'm going in with green. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just applying it and trying to apply it in different areas, and also trying to guide where it could possibly run, sort of. So at this point, I would have added, I think I have red as well. That didn't go too well. It looks a bit messy now. And I'm just trying to dab up some of the color, but it already kind of soaked in, kind of dried. So I tried to leave some of the areas white to give it some nice highlights, but it just ran all over. I lost control. So I'm drying it now and I'm trying to decide what to do next. Found some thread and now I'm going to add thread. Still trying to stick with my autumn colors theme. Remember, this is supposed to be day 5. Yes, I know. Super duper behind. I'm just unraveling a whole heap of thread to add another layer of wonderful juicy texture. And I lay that down, and now I'm bringing in my sheet that I created. Again, I put some paint on, I folded it and smushed it together. And these leaves that I'm cutting out were actually real leaves that I painted and printed on the page. I think I would probably do a video to show you all how I did that as well. So I cut out 3 of the leaves. I love those leaves. Get real definition, a lot of definition. And I found it was looking too plain. So I decided to add some color. So I put my orange. This is Tempera paint by Faber Castell. So I decided to add some vibrant color. I wanted my page to be much brighter than this. So here I'm going to cut out some small leaves to add to the page. And I'm just tucking it in different places to see how it looks, because by now I have a picture in my head as I'm going along, but I am not pleased with this at all. So I'm going to fiddle around until I like what I fiddle with. And I like that, kind of, better than what it was. So now I'm taking my CD marker, which is giving trouble to write and it's beginning to piss me off. And I switch to my Bic. Is that how you pronounce that? Bic marker. And that is nice and juicy. I didn't want the lines that thick, but that's the marker that I had, so I used it. And I'm just outlining some of the shapes that I did with the texture piece, because it kind of disappeared behind all that color. I really didn't intend to use all that color. So my hand signal there was like, well, whatever. So I'm just putting some of the thread on top because it kind of disappeared and I didn't want it to. I wanted it to be seen. So I'm sticking my leaves down now, still adding some little detail for those shapes. I think they're peppers behind from the stencil. And I'm sticking down my orange leaves on top of the thread, which is on top of the bigger leaves. Aren't these leaves beautiful? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, I just really love those colors. I'm just sticking them all in place. And sticking down my thread. And here, just pressing things down, make sure they stick. And that's a little close-up of all the juiciness. Now the tacky glue dries clear, so it's fine that, you're seeing that big blob there. It's gonna dry clear, so it's fine. So, thank you so much for joining me for prompt number 5, Autumn Colors. I would love to see what you all are creating. And thank you so much for watching and being a part of my creative experimental process. I'm looking forward to seeing you all for number 6. Bye!